Hello everybody, welcome to The Whole Rabbit, where, we don't just pull, a few cards and tell the rabbit what's going to happen the next 2 weeks or so. No. We ask the rabbit what its birthday is, calculate what minor arcana card corresponds to its birthday, then tell it its present, preceding, and future karma cards, informing it about its life lessons and challenges that it's going to face for the rest of its incarnation.
Well, that's a lot.
I'm your host, Luke.
And I'm the other guy, Andrew Haskins.
And today we're talking about the minor arcana of the tarot. So
shit.
Yeah, what the hell are the minor arcana of the tarot, Andrew?
Okay, so the minor arcana of the tarot.
We talked a little bit about this.
Yeah, we scratched kind of the surface of it, kabbalistically.
Yeah.
If I say so myself. Anyway, so these cards, they're kind of like what we understand as normal playing cards. So they come in 4 suits, and the 4 suits of normal playing cards are based on these cards, which are wands, cups, swords, and discs.
So which ones do those correspond to in the playing cards? Wands would be clubs.
Yeah, wands are clubs.
And the spades would be swords.
Yeah, spades are swords.
Because that's what you whack people with in those
Cups
World War
are
II
hearts,
games.
because cups have to do with emotions. And then discs are diamonds, because diamonds are, earthly and
like money.
Carbon. Yeah.
Okay, so the playing deck of cards accounts for most of the minor arcana, with the exception of the princess cards.
Yeah, the princess or the page.
Or the page.
Depends on how old your deck is.
How old my dick is? My dick is 32 years old.
Deck.
Oh yes. Yeah, you gotta clarify. Send deck photos. You gotta be careful.
Yeah. What kind of decks do you guys use? Send us your.
Yeah, send us your deck photos.
Yeah. We want your deck pics.
So
You know exactly what we mean. Don't fuck around.
I've seen so many decks. Once you've seen one deck, you've seen them all.
Or have you?
I don't know. There's some slight differences. There's some decks that are actual decks, and some decks that just are what is that? You know what I mean?
Like angel oracles. But some people swear by those decks. But anyways, so the minor arcana is broken down into 4 suits. Each suit has 14 cards.
Yeah, 14 cards because you got the ace. It's not the 1, as you informed me in the last episode.
Yeah, damn straight. You don't have an ace in a deck, or you have an ace in a deck. You don't have ones. You don't have any ones in the minor arcana.
But numerically, it's a 1. So you've got the ace through 10,
which is the first. You just say
got
the
the first through the 10.
Yeah, there you go.
That sounds so esoteric.
Dude.
And then you have a page or a princess. I prefer to call it the princess because why are you gonna have 3 dudes and 1 chick in the court? That's just gross.
Yeah, dude, that's gay. I'm sorry. Or it's extremely feminist.
Blame Dave Chappelle.
I guess so.
So it makes sense to have an equal amount of men and women in the court. So, and then that also, okay, so here, you've got the 4 court cards, you got the 4 suits. You know what I mean? And those 4 suits have elemental associations. So wands are fire, cups are water, swords are air, and the pentacles are earth.
But
the court cards work that way too.
Yeah. That's totally it. So the kings, they correspond with fire.
Those are the knights in some decks.
Yeah, or knights. The queens correspond with water. The princes correspond with air. And the princesses correspond with earth. And this is the crazy esoteric Yadhe Valhe of the freaking tarot deck, is that it's the same idea as the tetragrammaton, or a self-permeating idea. It's basically like a fractal. It's the old school tarot is basically based on a fractal, and that's why it's supposedly so cool and crazy and kabbalistic, is because it's kind of got this weird mathematical and geometric perfection that makes it just really attractive to us ape things.
And that's why the kabbalistic tree of life is like a Christmas tree that you could put your little esoteric shiny baubles and ornaments on that make little jingle jingle noises, and then if you drop one they shatter and you step on them you bleed, and it's like a filing cabinet or a Christmas tree for stuff. We're reviewing a little too much here. We don't.
Okay. So let's start off with just the court cards because we're on there.
Let's
talk about the kabbalistic fairy tale.
Oh wait. Okay. I was gonna say because you get redundancies, right? So the Queen of Cups would be the water of water. So she's the watery qualities of water, for instance.
Yeah, and this works with all of them. So it's like a 4x4 mix match elemental association. So you have like the fire of fire, the water of fire, the air of fire, the earth of fire, and you have the fire of water, the fire of air, the fire of earth, and like et cetera, et cetera, et cetera to each element. I don't want to like keep elaborating
and those
further.
Okay, that's an elaboration. Those are a good instructory. What's the right way to say this? That is good material to study how the elements work together and what they do, and how they correspond to human personalities. Now, the rest of the minor arcana uses planetary associations to mix its energies up, right? So for the court cards,
it's also a an ever downgrading, like the energy seems to continuously degrade as it moves down
from the ace to the 10.
Yeah, through each suit. So it goes from the ace of the 10 of wands to the ace of the 10 of discs. So basically it moves through all the cards down from wands to cups to air, or to swords to discs,
in that order.
Yeah, and then back up to the very top.
And then we could say that while the court cards are like a mix and match of elements, that the rest of the minor arcana or the minor cards express themselves through the planets.
Yeah,
there's some elements in there, obviously.
And then, as we said before, that each card is a corresponding of the energies of each sphere in Kabbalah as you move down the tree.
So it's hard to really say what it is, but we did just describe the structure and how the mysteries are expressed on those cards. So you got planets on the 1 through 10, and the 1 through 10 correspond to the 10 spheres in the Kabbalistic Tree of Life. And then you got the court cards, which correspond to the 4 elements, and they mix and match. So there you go. That's a summary of what we just told you, and that's the overall structure of the minor arcana.
So let's talk about the Kabbalistic fairy tale, because this is a great way to describe or explain how the
Let us talk about the Kabbalistic fairy tale.
The court cards work, because the court cards, they're kind of weird because they usually correspond with people, but they also correspond with your own sort of psychological view on a situation as well. So let's talk about the Kabbalistic fairy tale.
Okay.
All right. So it starts off with the princess, right? And the princess is asleep, like every fairy tale does. Every fucking princess, they're just fucking sleeping.
And that's like us in the material world, washed up on the beach. Who am I?
Yeah. What am I doing? What's my purpose?
What's life all about?
Right? And then you have the prince. The prince is trying to come and awaken the princess from this dream she's trapped herself in, which is Maya, the illusion of existence or reality, or what we see to be reality.
And he has to wake her up with a kiss of love.
Yeah. So this is expressed through the concept of it's you as an individual marrying the concept of your higher self as expressed in the Western esoteric tradition as your holy guardian angel.
So you're just wandering around in the material world what do I do? And then your higher self or your angel is personified as a prince that's looking for you. You're not looking for your angel. Your angel's looking for you. Your higher self is looking for you, and it's trying to awaken you and bring you back to the castle where all the good shit is, basically.
Yeah, it's kind of trying to save you from the dream.
So then what happens after,
Okay, so this is after you're awakened to the prince, or after the princess is awakened to the prince, or you're awakened to your holy guardian angel, or whatever term you want to call that, your flying spaghetti monster, or your vision of God, or your netty God, or whatever the hell you want to call it, right?
Even you're not God.
Yeah, even you're not God. Even your
there is no God.
Yeah, your sum total of there is no God and what reality is. Any sort of idea like that. It's the thing that makes you leap over the abyss. Or
so the princess and the prince, they get married?
Yeah, there's a courtship and then there's a marriage, and it's this is sort of like the Kabbalistic wedding, and it's the idea of marrying It's a weird thing because it's marrying an angel. And we were kind of talking about this in the sex magic episode, that after you have your holy guardian angel, you summon into other people and then you fuck it. It's just a really weird thing, but if you're a hardcore magician, I guess you get down on that,
Yeah, man, I'm all about it. If I had a partner to do that with, I'd be doing that shit. like for realsies. But most people, they just want to fuck. That's why in the Thelema rituals, you just fuck in the first part. It makes total sense. That's why I say that.
You're like, oh, this is bad. He's just like, whoa.
Okay. So, not to like overdo it. The princess and the prince, they fuck, they get married, and they become the king and the queen. And so the queen is...
Yeah, they have it all. They have the kingdom, Yeah, they're in control of it. Okay, but like the idea of the king and the queen is you have the divine masculine, the divine feminine, the receptive and the projective in its proper place, in its proper form.
But then they sort of like, they're equals now at the top.
Yeah. They are equals. They just have different stations and different things they do.
And so the kings, they sit in Hakma, which is the second sphere of the Tree of Life, and it sits at the top of the Pillar of Mercy, right?
Yeah.
And then the queens?
Before we get down to the queens, so the kings are like an active force. They're an active projective force. Like of every element in every suit. They're the motion of the element.
Yeah, they're
the action.
They send the email.
Yeah.
The queens sit in the third sphere of the Tree of Life, which sits at the pinnacle of the Pillar of Severity.
They sit on their throne in Binah, and so like they're at the point of the understanding of the element. They're the receptive of the element. They're sort of like they take on the form of the material. They're like the emotion of like how the element feels, how it receives, how it flows. It's a hard thing to describe, but they're the liquid nature of every element.
If I think a lot about this stuff, and if you
it's hard. You gotta like keep meditating on like what people write in books, and you're like, what does this shit mean? And like you like only after like when you're chilling and you're just resting, you like got that thing just like bugging in your brain. Eventually it just clicks. You're like, oh. So it's really weird, and you really have to like actually think about these kind of concepts.
Well, like caveman days, it makes sense because the man goes out and he gets some food, drags it back, and is like, I got this. What do you want to do with it? The women have to figure out, like, okay, I have to, like, clean the animal this way and pull it apart this way, and we cook this and we throw that out, and, we got to make clothes out of this part of it. It's two different things. Like, the one person brings it and the other person organizes it.
Oh, whoa, I'm getting this weird flash of, like, good and evil right now, of, like, the knowledge of good and evil. It's like, oh, this part's good and that part's bad. This part's good and that part's bad. Good and evil.
Yeah, naturally, the woman would probably have more of an understanding of that than a man would, like evolutionarily speaking, perhaps. So maybe that's why she got the apple for it. Because the women had to be like the smarter ones, I would imagine, and then the men had to be the braver ones. Women have to just be more cunning and intelligent and have to be longer thinking, where the men just have to like be willing to die for stupid shit.
Or be able to just
be
die.
able to.
Yeah, be able to die for stupid shit.
Which isn't easy. That's hard.
No, but like, it's not every time do they die for stupid shit. Sometimes they get that stupid shit and it's like, hey, look at this shit I got. I got some honey. Yeah.
Yay! And then, it was like, we can make all sorts of shit with this.
All right,
like, I'm gonna put it on my dick. And that's how Pornhub started.
So the king and the queen, they're like ultimate projective, ultimate receptive, and they create a son, which is both receptive and projective. And then, there's another, like the son seeks a wife, and that's the prince. The prince seeks the princess, and so this is the
sort of incestuous, a bit like Pornhub also. In its own
way.
Yeah,
it's a weird one, but when you like realize that like the princess,
it's esoteric. It's not like this is not something you want to mimic in real life. You want to mimic this in these are metaphors.
Yeah, they're all metaphors. So like the idea is that every princess would be the manifestation of the marriage between the king and the queen of the lower tree. Because each suit is like one kabbalistic tree on top of the other. So where one tree ends, the other one begins.
And so that's how those court cards behave.
And we could prattle off on like their meanings and like what they're supposed to be about.
Now, here's the thing I want to get in. I want to get into the meat and potatoes of how you break down your birthday and how it corresponds to certain minor arcana cards. Because, we should start with the major arcana cards. It's pretty easy. We both have the same birthday, so it's really easy for us to talk about some of this stuff. For instance, you and me are both a Gemini.
Yeah.
Which means that the Major Arcana card that associates with us in Gemini is the Lover's card. And then because Gemini is an air sign, means that the Ace of Swords also corresponds to us as our element.
Yeah, so this is sort of like you just like you fit in the plugs where they can.
So yeah, if you were an Aquarius or if you were a Gemini
or a Libra,
you would have a sword as your element.
Yeah, you'd have the Ace of Sword as your element card. So all these things are sort of integrally linked with all these people.
So that's your root symbol. Your root symbol is like the Ace of Wands or Cups or Swords or Discs. For us, it's the sword. And then your personal symbol is which court card corresponds to your birthday. So for us, May 11th through June 10th, 20 degrees of Taurus to 20 degrees of Gemini is the King of Swords. And as you can tell from that description, the quadrants of the sky and the seasons correspond to different court cards, to which the princesses or pages are excluded. Interesting to think about in terms of playing cards. So if you were using the cards for divination purposes, for finding out times and finding out quadrants of the sky, you could discard the pages or the princesses when doing that divination. And so you'd be able to achieve that even with a normal deck of playing cards. I thought that was interesting.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So if you know your associations, you could do it with just a regular playing deck.
Right, so finding your character symbol, you're either a queen, a king, or a prince. And so for us, we're the King of Swords. You know, someone else could be like a Queen of Wands or whatever. And then those are sort of like the qualities that correspond to your spiritual tendencies, I guess. And so that's finding your character symbol in the court cards. So you've got your root symbol, your character card, and then your archetypal symbol, which is your Major Arcana card, right? Now, this is pretty basic stuff, right? The court card's pretty cool to have an association with because you're like, oh, I have these qualities, so that's fun to know, right? Like, we could list them off real quick. So starting with the beginning of the occult new year, March 11 to April 10 is Queen of Wands. April 11 to May 10 is Prince of Discs. May 11 to June 10 is King of Wands. June 11th to July 11th is the Queen of Cups. July 12th to August 11th is the Prince of Wands. August 12th to September 11th is the King of Discs.
Oh shit, 9/11.
Whoa! September 12th to October 12th is the Queen of Swords. And October 13th to November 12th is the Prince of Cups. Then November 13 to December 12 is King of Wands. December 13 to January 9 is Queen of Discs. January 10 to February 8 is Prince of Swords. And lastly, February 9 to March 10 is King of Cups. So just in that little section, you should be able to figure out what your court card is. So yeah, if you're a water sign, you're a cup. If you're a fire sign, you're a wand. If you're, yeah. And then that's not the most important part. There's one more part that's super duper important, and that is your personal symbol corresponds with your birthday. It also is, it goes through the whole minor arcana. So it's, well, not the whole minor arcana, but there's quite a few different days. So like we have the same birthday once again. Now this shit's important. You never hear about your root symbol. You never hear about your personal or your root symbol in most tarot anything, and it's really important. So what's our symbol here? May 21st to May 31st is the Eight of Swords, which is the Lord of Shortened Force.
Yeah.
Interference.
Yeah, it's some dickish shit.
Okay, so what does that mean? That means that me and Andrew have some karmatic cycle.
We do a podcast together.
Yeah, sure. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just geeking out so hard over here.
No, but like when it comes down to it, we have like the same birthday, and then like all the fucking tarot correspondences kind of link up. You know, different year, but like then it's like we have like weird fucking correspondences. Like
Gemini got
my Mercury is on your ascendant, or my ascendant's on where your Mercury is, or some stupid shit like that. You know, like
yeah, we have the same birthday a few years apart. So we have some things that line up and some things that don't. It's interesting to see. It gives us some insight.
Because we're rather fucking similar. Like
yeah, we're similar in a lot of ways. Except I'm a rabbit and you're a horse. That's the big difference, in my opinion.
Yeah, that is kind of a difference. I guess the Chinese stuff really matters as well. It means you all have to learn Chinese stuff as well. We'll get more into Eastern esoterics later, like with the I Ching.
All right.
That'd be a good one.
And so once you find your personal symbol, ours is, of course, the Eight of Swords, interference. You take the one from before that one and then the one after that one, and it creates like a little flip book in your karma. So for us, our karma flip book goes from...
Oh yeah, and that's our social media service. Like
what social media? What are you talking about?
Karma book.
karma book.
Yeah, that's ours.
Where you just get only the amount of abuse that you karmatically deserve.
Yeah. We look at your posts and be like, oh no, you're a dick. You get all this shit. You know, like even if it's not for you, you know.
You just get abused a certain amount based on how much you deserve to be abused.
The algorithm just starts abusing you.
That's sort of what it does anyway.
No, but that'll be our model, you know, and we'll just sell it to Google and we'll make millions.
We'll make a few bucks before they screw us somehow.
They keep all the liability on us.
Yeah, of course. It's gonna be our fault when they find out that they're spying on what flavor underwear you're wearing or whatever.
Why are you wearing flavored underwear? What the fuck? What's wrong with you,
How'd
bro?
you know I was wearing flavored underwear?
You just told me.
No, I didn't.
I read it.
Damn. You read it in the cards?
No, I read it.
You know,
I read it on Reddit.
Sometimes you're reading people's cards and the cards are just telling you what flavor underwear they have, you know, and you're just trying to leave that out of the reading. Not really. That doesn't really happen. Not unless they ask about it. And I'm sure I could come up with an answer.
As for, like, the meaning of the cards, each card, they got their own little, like, names and stuff. These are kind of like those, remember how, like, we were talking, and they're, like, those Mameluke cards?
Yeah.
Like, the deck of that deck?
Yeah, how they have their own little inscriptions.
Yeah, each of these tarot cards in the Minor Arcana have their own little inscriptions, their own little sort of name or title. Like, we can, like, go down, because each title is kind of descriptive of what they're supposed to mean.
Well, let's start with the 3 personal symbols for our own karma flip book.
Oh, I wanted to just go down to, like, do the whole thing in, like, order.
Okay.
Just so, like, we gotta, like, get through this, because there's a lot of cards, and we gotta kind of give that out to people, because...
Okay.
You know, some people don't work with decks like this. They just get, like, oh, the 3 of Cups, or the 2 of something.
So should we start in Absoluth?
Yeah, we should start with...
That's the archetypal world. That's the top of the tree, the top... world of fire.
Yeah, we're getting back to Kabbalah because that's the only way to describe this stuff.
And since that corresponds to the wands,
we're going to talk about wands.
We're going to talk about wands. So what do we start with? We start with the ace.
We've already gone through the aces.
We already went through all those root cards basically.
Yeah.
So they're the root of each element.
Yeah, they're the idea of the element, the concept of the element.
So fire is not like fire itself, it's the idea of fire, something that's like warm and that rises and is consuming and burns.
It consumes.
And it creates light. So it's the principles of. So now we're in that world. So that's the ace, that's the principle of that element, and then we move to the twos.
All right,
the 2 of wands. What's 2 of wands, Andrew?
2 of wands, we have domination. No. This is a really easy thing to...
Now it's dominion.
Dominion?
Yeah.
That's dominion?
Yeah.
Straight up. Dominion, domination, same root.
It's a similar idea.
Same root.
But yeah, it's like having control.
Yeah, this is... All right, so it's 2 of wands. So, like, wands represent will. Now, these are 2 different wills, 2 different opposing wills. This is what it represents. Also, before I get too far, the astrological associations are 0 degrees varies to 10 degrees varies. March 21st to March 30th. So just for your information.
Yeah, so if you're born in that day, that's your personal symbol. If you're born in those days, the 2 of wands is your personal symbol.
Yeah. So Dominion is, it's all about who's in control. And it's all about exerting power and control. This is best epitomized by, like, I forget is it Jay-Z or who the hell it is? I don't know. I don't know who did this song, but it's a music video for a song because it's like, who's going to run this town tonight?
Yeah, it's Jay-Z. They have the 2 wands.
Yeah, and everyone's walking around with 2 sticks and banging them, and they're talking about who's going to run this town tonight. That's basically the card.
Yeah, they're all in that Thelema stuff.
Yeah. So, like, once you know tarot, you're going to look at music videos, and you're going to be like, oh, shit.
They use a lot of tarot music videos.
Yeah, like,
so what are
nothing but it.
What are the planets that express that card? It's Mars in Aries?
Yeah, Mars in Aries.
Okay, so we got to keep moving.
Yeah. We got to,
like,
speed this motherfucker up because we got, like, 35 more cards to go.
Yeah, so if you're March 31st through April 10, that makes you Virtue, 3 of wands.
Yeah, so 3 of wands is called established strength, or it's virtue in the Thoth deck.
So if you see that in a Rider-Waite deck, it's like the dude standing there with his 3 wands, and he's looking out over the great expanse. And it usually, when it comes up in a reading, it's like things in the future that are coming, or future plans, future endeavors, leaving home, that kind of shit.
It's about planning to do something to the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kerbal Space Program.
Yeah. So Yeah, that
You're in the
one's...
VAB and you're
Oh yeah,
building
so
stuff.
this is March 31st to April 10th.
And that's the sun in Aries.
Yeah, Sun in Aries. So this is about the people who are like Sun in Aries.
And that's the Lord of established strength.
Yeah. So this
is a little more established than the 2. The 2 is like this is my will, and then the 2 is like it's established, you know.
Yeah, it's like somebody who can, and he's like, okay, now I'm gonna do.
All right, April 11 to April 20.
We got the 4 of Wands, perfected work. This is about like
or completion.
Yeah, this is a well-established will. This is it's sort of like the most. It's like the sturdiest structure, you know, the least sturdiest structure.
It's like things have come together and they're
working out.
They're working out. Things are balanced, and this is expressed in the planetary energies as Venus and Mars, or excuse me, Venus in Aries.
Yeah, we're in Aries. We're still in Aries because, like, it's like 3 cards because it's only 9 cards for these for this lower part.
And we know what happens when Venus and Aries get together.
So each suit has 3 cards that represent each astrological sign, and then each astrological sign, each card has a different planet in it, and this represents the planetary energies in the astrological associations that correspond with the idea in the card.
So you see how all these things link together in a certain way where you can learn a lot about each of their component parts by studying each card, basically.
Yeah, it's
each component and how they associate with each other. It just takes a little bit of studying, but like this is the bare bones of it. So let's move on. What we got?
5 of Wands, we have strife. This is 0 degrees of Leo to 10 degrees of Leo, July 22nd to August 1st. We have Saturn in Leo, so we have like the force of Saturn, which is a very material force.
And oppressive and heavy.
Yeah, in a fiery sign, in a fixed fiery sign, which likes to be free and, you know, it's the most etheric element. So
it's like a sparkler or a torch being held to the ground. So
yeah.
It's a symbol of like people fighting also in the Rider-Waite deck.
Yeah, or like a quarrel or problem or something going on.
Okay, next card.
Yeah, we got 6 of Wands. Here we got victory.
And that's August 2 to August 11th.
And we have Jupiter in Leo. So this is a big, expansive planet in a fiery sign. This is a well-established will.
So this is like my favorite fucking scene in HBO's Rome, when Julius Caesar comes back to Rome and he has the King of Gaul and they're going to execute him, and then they paint his face to be like Jupiter. Oh, he is Jupiter. Totally. And he's like the king, and he like marches in, and they have like this huge procession, and he's victorious over the Gauls, basically. He's a god, and they have like the whole procession. That's what it looks like in the Rider-Waite deck. So that's the energy of that shit.
Yeah. And so it's about, you know, well-established will that's like perfectly balanced. Balanced will. It's good. Sixes are good. 5s and 7s are usually bad for some reason.
It's because they're not 6s.
Yeah,
basically.
Because they're not 6s. Yeah, you know, you gotta be a 6.
6 is just balance. It's balance in the tree of life. It's in the center. It's the one sphere that connects to absolutely every other sphere, with the exception of Malkuth, which is sort of blocked by Yesod, which is the moon, which is why the moon is so important in magic and meditation, which corresponds to the psyche, which is why the psyche is so important in magic and meditation.
Hey.
Sorry. Okay, we're going blah blah.
Hey, save the planets for the next episode.
Okay, so what's the next card? 7.
Right, so we got 7 of Wands, we got Valor.
We might get through this in an hour.
This is August 12th to August 22nd. Here we have Mars in Leo, and this card represents like a struggle that, like, you know how like the 5s are like unbalanced will that causes like problems and like a quarrel?
It's not quite there yet. It's a little immature.
Like the 7s is like,
it's getting a little too old.
No, it's like the 7s are like, it's like you could win, but like it's not gonna be pretty. It's like a slog, dude. It's like straight up like a strength battle. It's like,
that's very much what the Valor card's about.
It's like grappling. It sucks.
So if you get that card in a reading, I always tell you, like, you're barely gonna make it. You're gonna think that you're not gonna make it like near the end. Yeah, just keep pushing. You know, this is like you give up right before you're successful. Like, if you don't master this card. You know,
don't give up. This is a don't give up. You'll win.
Yeah.
It just takes a bit.
So yeah, what's the next card?
All right, so the 8 of Wands, we have Swiftness. Here we have 0 degrees of Sagittarius. We got November 23rd to December 2nd. See how we're jumping around like the calendar? We have Mercury in Sagittarius. So we have like Mercury. This is a very light, sort of flighty planet in a very light, sort of flighty, fiery planet.
And those are
or not planet.
It's
Sorry,
it's symbols.
Star sign.
And so it's symbols of like arrows in flight in the typical Rider-Waite deck, but in the Thoth deck it has rainbows and it corresponds to
lightning bolts.
Lightning bolts and electricity. So oftentimes it can correspond to like text messages and quick sorts of communication.
Well, it does. It does correspond with communication.
Lightning fast.
And activity and like quick flashes of activity.
Right.
So
it can also be like a letter that you already sent. It's already on its way. That's also can be what it is.
Yeah, checks in the mail. Okay, so the next one's the Nine of Wands.
Heisenberg uncertainty principle. Okay, so we're at Nine of Wands, so that's December 3rd through the 12th, and that's the Lord of Strength, Nine of Wands.
Yeah, or Great Strength. And the I'm reading from the just so everyone knows, the Tarot of Ceremonial Magic by Lon Milo Duquette. And so
I'm reading from Sex Magic, Tantra, and Tarot, which we've cited on the show many times because Lon Milo Duquette has the best books about tarot, period.
Dude, he's got some good books. We're going to eventually have to do a review of his books because he's got some good books.
I think we're going to probably do the Kabbalion and, well, I won't mention the other one because it's so badass.
Okay, so you already give the 10 degrees Sagittarius, December 3rd to December 12th, Moon in Sagittarius. So this card...
Wait, where are we?
We're still on Great Strength.
Are we still on Strength?
Yeah, we're still on Lord of Strength.
Okay, Lord of Strength. So yeah, Knight of Wands. Yeah, usually corresponds to like long-lasting energy. It's like if somebody is sick, it means they'll recover.
This is like kind of like you want to give. This is the one where you literally want to give the fuck up, but you have to keep moving. Like that's what this one is.
Really?
Yeah, this one.
I thought it was a little more optimistic than that. This one.
You can look at it optimistic, but it's one of those ones where you're gonna feel like you wanna like die. You just want to lay down and die, but you have to get up and move. Like this is that like, because as soon as you get off of it, like as soon as that dead weight's done, all that energy is pushing forward. You know, this is one of those that's that kind of strength, the kind of strength that like breaks the inertia.
And also because a 9 corresponds to Yesod, which is usually positioned over the genitals, and Wands can be fire, and that corresponds to
the penis.
The penis. So it also does correspond to like the power of an erect penis. You know.
Well, all the Wands do.
All the Wands do, but because in Yesod, there's another association with that there. Kind of like how the 5, how it's a bunch of dudes fighting in 5. You know.
Yeah, because the 5s correspond with Gabora, which corresponds with Mars, which corresponds with war.
So it's a prick fight.
Yeah, dude. It just happens.
Okay, so moving on. We got 10 of Wands now. We're all the way through the first suit. We got 3 more to go.
Degrees of Sagittarius, 30 degrees of Sagittarius, December 13th to December 21st. We got Saturn in Sagittarius. We got Saturn again in a fire sign. You know there's going to be problems.
Yeah, Sagittarius is trying to get free, but Saturn won't let it.
Yeah, because like Sagittarius is like the most etheric out of all the fucking zodiacal signs.
And Saturn is the least etheric of the planets. It's like, get me results. And that's kind of the energy of the card. It's like, do it because I say so.
Yeah, and you have to remember that
my will be done.
Like the fire cards, they seem to like to be higher in the suit. Like they like to be 2s and 3s and aces. They don't like being 10s.
They get more and more
at all
burny and dangerous as they get close to the ground.
Yeah. It's just like fire doesn't like being on the ground. It's better in orbit, you know.
So that's oppression. Okay, so now we start with cups.
Yeah, I guess we get down to cups. So obviously there would be an ace interval right here. Like you would have like the different aces between the two suits. So
the principle of water, it wants to seek its level, which is always down. So it always wants to fall.
It's the Tao. That's the principle of water.
It's also emotional intelligence, intuition, how water flows, how water can be, you know, ice or a wave,
and also the principle
rain.
Of life, like the life-giving principle.
Right. As sort of like the mirror opposite of the aces. So like if this were your soul,
the wands, not the aces.
Wands, excuse me. There you go. So if this were your soul, the cups would be like the ocean, and then the sun would be like the fire, and so It's a reflection. It's a place where you can accurately reflect the higher realms in the.
So we've gone from spirit to soul.
Yeah, we've gone from spirit to soul. Okay, so now we're in cups. So let's start with that first cup. This is a good one. Two of cups is good.
Two of cups is really good.
Two of hearts.
Two cups.
Two
that
hearts
beat
that beat
as
as
one.
one.
Two of cups.
Pretty much. That's the whole cards. It's all about love. And
Yeah. In fact, its title is love.
Lord.
What's your old Golden Dawn thing? Because I think he's got the old Golden Dawn one.
It's June 21st to July 1st, so you'd be a Cancer.
Yeah, this is the Cancer card.
So
the first 10 degrees
so
of Cancer.
That'd be your personal symbol if
If anyone's paying attention, they'll be noticing a pattern with the degrees of the zodiac sign.
The stirring of the elements, blah blah.
Yeah, so it's Venus in
We're all
Cancer. Venus in Cancer. So we have the emotional Venus in the life-giving Cancer. That's like the funniest sounding sentence I've ever said. Or the phrase life-giving Cancer. Because Cancer's like, it's the tide pool.
That's like Netflix and chill to me, man. That's what that card sounds like.
Yeah, I guess Netflix and chill.
Like, let's just stay in.
Yeah, it's that emotional feedback loop. Like that's what this is. This is like you give it and receive it.
Yeah, give and take equally.
At the same time, you know?
Love.
Simultaneously.
Exchange of energy, that's nice. Okay, moving on. Three of cups.
Three of Cups is abundance.
And that's July 2nd to July 11th.
It's Mercury in Cancer. This is the next 10 degrees of Cancer. So,
That's like a little kid at home. How he's just got everything that he can play with. All the stuff. And
well, yeah. So, like, the abundance is, like, everything. Like, it's like, oh, I got my friends, and we got video games, we're smoking weed, or like, you know, you get your family, and, like, your favorite fucking thing is happening, and, like, it's just, there's just a lot of good stuff going on.
So
like,
the Three of Cups, like, the emotional feelings of, like, a barbecue.
In fact, the funniest fucking thing is, in the cartoon Rick and Morty, it's like one of the story arcs at the end of I think it's season 2, is when you know, they're looking for another planet, and it's like he's like, oh, we got 3 options, you know, our cup runneth over. Like, that's straight up the Three of Cups. Like, he made like it's a gnarly tarot reference.
There's lots of tarot.
Whether it's conscious or not, that's straight up a tarot reference. If it's not conscious, that's more proof that tarot is accurate.
That's also how tarot does do freaky weird shit like that. So, like, it's cool. Moving on. Four of Cups.
All right, blended pleasure. This is like family.
July 12th to July 21st.
Yeah, this is like family.
What's the planets there?
All right, we got the moon in Cancer.
Oh, so that'd be like the mom at home.
Yeah.
Because Cancer's like the home.
Well, okay, so you love your mom, but you don't want to have fun around your mom. You know, like, think about that.
Not the same way as you would with Venus.
Yeah.
That's love. With your mom, it's luxury.
Or what? I don't know. But
like your mom's gonna make you dinner.
Or something. You know, your mom's got love, but like of a different sort.
It comes with a price.
Yeah. Like,
I think
it comes with guilt.
I think the Latinos out there understand what this is about.
You know, it's blended pleasure.
It doesn't matter how fucking old you are. If you live with your mom, you know, you get a bed, you get food, but you have to fucking listen to her rules, man. That's the biz.
That's what happens, Holmes.
5 of Cups.
It's Madre way. Okay, so loss in pleasure or disappoint. I've also heard this as disappointment.
Yeah, it's the disappointment card.
Yeah, so in the Thoth deck, it's definitely disappointment.
So what's the planets?
So here in the planets, we got Mars in Scorpio. We got October 23rd to November 1st. Here's this is a good one because it's about like emotional. It's
how the bathroom looks after the party.
Dude, it's just like being emotionally distraught. Like
it's how you feel after the party.
Being longing for the emotional pleasure. This is like.
But you've kind of tapped the button so many times, you're not getting anything anymore. That's sort of the vibe of it too.
Yeah, this is sort of like, it's almost like breaking up, but it's like, this is like the emotional feeling of breaking up. This is where it's all dried up. This is like,
yeah, it's all dried up and withered.
Yeah, this is where it's just no more.
Did we say what time that, or what correspond to in time that was?
October 23rd to November 1st.
Okay, let's move on.
All right. So next we got the Six of Cups. Now the Six of Cups, like we said before, sixes are always good.
Yes.
Sixes are good. But just watch out for the Happy Squirrel card.
That's November 2nd to November 12th.
Yeah, so we got Soul in Scorpio. This is pleasure.
This is a really interesting card, and I'm going to have a hard time explaining it because Scorpio is kind of like that.
It's sex, dude. This card means sex. It's the sex card, dude. Like, out of all of them, this is straight up the sex card.
So if the Two of Cups is like romance, the Six of Cups is like making love.
Yeah, this is straight up making love and having love and being love.
Because
the Scorpio,
the Scorpio's like the stank.
Yeah.
And then the Soul is like the hang down.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you need that stank on the hang down. Get a little stank on your hang down in the Six of Cups.
So it's back to this whole sex magic thing where it's like the male and female energies are balanced, but it's also emotional. So it's like the emotional energy of a good sex, I guess.
Yeah, this is the emotional energy of a loving, compatible relationship.
It's also kind of like the love union you feel between your nose and cocaine when you. It's like that feeling too. It's pretty much anything that feels really good. You know, it's like, oh, that feels good. Feels good, man.
Yeah, this is the emotion of pleasure.
This is Pepe before he got racist.
No, this is the emotion of pleasure.
Yeah. But the emotion of pleasure. All right, moving on.
Yeah. So the next one we have is 7. And again, 7s always suck. We have illusory success.
What's the dates that correspond to that card?
That's November 13th to November 22nd. We have Venus in Scorpio. And so this one's like...
Too many options.
Too many
drinks.
Not being able to make up your mind. Window shopping. This is like... You just can't make up your fucking mind what you want.
This is Tinder. 7 of Cups is Tinder.
Are you going to swipe left
Yeah.
or are you going to swipe right? Are you going to swipe left? Swipe. No, that's swipe left.
And then you got all these people messaging you. You've got like you're invited to 3 different parties, and no matter which one you go to, you're just kind of like, maybe I should be at the other one. It's kind of a crappy card.
Yeah, it's also corresponds with drugs and debauchery. Okay, the next one, and we have the 8 of Cups. This is abandoned success. This is where, like, you're kind of being emotionally fulfilled, but you're not getting all the fulfillment.
Okay, that corresponds to the date of February 19th to February 28th.
And it's also Saturn in Pisces.
And is called Indolence in some decks.
Yeah, and so this is one of those cards that the Hermit pops up, like, every now and then. Like, he pops up in this card where he's got 8 cups, and 5 of them are being filled by what he's doing. He's like, fuck it, I'm not getting all of them filled, I'm out.
Because that's disappointment. 5 of Cups is disappointment. So he's sort of leaving behind what no longer serves him.
Yeah, he wants that 3 of Cups. He wants abundance.
Right. So he has to leave behind the 5 to seek the 3 or whatever. So
yeah.
He's kind of leaving. He's leaving the party. He's at the party and he's not satisfied. So he's going to leave the party to go find something better, basically.
Yeah, this place is lame.
Okay.
I'm not getting laid here. I got to go and fucking get laid. Or be with my family or something, whichever one, you know? All right, next one's
Go be with my kid.
Yeah. It's like, fuck your party. I'm going to go play with my fucking child. All right, the next one's 9 of Cups, material happiness.
March 1st to March 10th.
We got Jupiter in Pisces.
Now, this is the best. This is the best card in the deck, basically. Some people call it the Make-A-Wish card. The cups overfloweth, you know?
They just keep floweth. They keep floweth if they need, you know? Just like so many you know?
So why is that? What is the planetary energies here?
Okay, so here we got Jupiter in Pisces. So we have a warm, expansive energy in, like, the river. So, like, okay, if you're going to break down astrology, you'd be like, I should save this.
So, like
for
a water park.
Well, it's Pisces is the river. Cancer is the shoreline, is like the tide pools. And then Scorpio is the abyss. Those are the different, like, sort of natural so this is like the warm, expansive river. You know, this is like the Amazon. This is like a life-giving thing.
Oh, so Soul in Scorpio back in the 6 of Cups, it's the depths. So it's the sun going all the way into the depths. So it's like,
yeah, it's sun in the ocean.
Giving it to you.
Yeah, it's
okay,
the sun in the ocean, you know?
All right, so this is more like a water park, 9 Nine of Cups. Okay.
Yeah, kind of. This is like a
we
warm river.
We got to hurry a little bit. So we got Ten of Cups now next.
Ten of Cups. We got perfected success.
Satiety.
Yeah, we have Mars and Pisces. This is force in the river. This is sort of like. This is like that Martian thrust, you know.
I guess you could say it's kind of like when you're driving along and you're just driving and you're just like, I'm a happy guy driving. Because things are just going.
Well, also you have like
not quite as good as the 9, but it's okay.
Have you ever heard of like the Chinese rivers? They're like fucking huge and fucking raging, you know, and they bring all this freaking nutritious fucking sediment down to the.
It's a good card.
To the valleys. It's a good card.
So what dates does that correspond to?
It corresponds to March 11th to March 20th, and this is all about perfected success. This is about, like, your cup runneth over so much that it spilleth and staineth the carpet.
All right.
Yeah, dude, this is just like, oh, man, it leaves a mark, and you'll remember that motherfucker. There's going to be an extra long episode.
Well, we'll just hurry up because we got some time. Okay, so swords. The principle of swords is it's what you get.
Mind.
It has
the intellect.
It has the warmth of the will and it has the wetness of the emotions. It's the marriage of the fire and the water. It has a little bit of both. And in some senses, it's the formula of the Sphinx, where you have the higher nature, which is of the mind, and then the lower nature, which is of the feeling or the emotions. And then by bringing them together, that's where we get the qualities of conscious thought, and conscious thought as it corresponds to words and the power that words wield, either to help or to hurt, and to discern between what is right and what is wrong, between what is true and what is untrue, and also the quality of words to deceive. So all of that stuff, and the quality of the mind also to do these things. That all corresponds to fucking swords.
Because it's represented as a double-edged sword, because you can cut yourself or you can cut your opponent.
Yeah, so we gotta hurry. So two swords, date.
So we got Peace Restored. We got September 23rd to October 2nd, Moon in Libra.
Lord of Peace.
Yeah, this is about resolving a conflict. I've also heard it as conflict resolved.
So Luna in Libra is kind of like, all the scales are kind of balanced. All the parties are taken care of. There's peace between all parties.
Yeah, the balance between the two halves, darkness and light.
And then you get what happens here in the Three of Swords, October 3rd to October 12th.
Three of Swords known as sorrow. We have Saturn in Libra. Basically, this is where you have to know, even if it hurts you. This is like basically where you find out like you're being cheated on. This is where it hurts, but you have to learn. You have to know.
It's the understanding of justice.
Yeah.
And also anyway.
The understanding of the mind. It hurts, but you have to know.
We don't want to dwell too long. So October 13th to October 22nd.
Oh yeah, that was Saturn in Libra. Yeah, I already said that. Okay.
So October 13th to October 22nd, Four of Swords, truce.
Or rest from strife. We have Jupiter in Libra. This is about reflecting back and looking back into the past. This is a point of pause to stop and look at your thoughts.
And it's
kind
more,
of like I would call it like the meditation card maybe.
Yeah, it's more contemplative than the Three of Swords, like, because Jupiter's more like boisterous and fun, where Saturn's more like a judge. So the energies are different. And then you got the Five of Swords here, and that corresponds to what date?
All right, so the Five of Swords, we have January 2nd to January 29th, Venus in Aquarius. So this is actually my card of the day. This is where the sentiment defeats the mind. This is sort of where the water rests the blade.
Can't make a decision like, oh, I don't know, do I want this, do I want that?
This is where the hot chick walks up and asks, what song did you just play? And you can't tell her jack diddle shit, even though you're a DJ.
Yeah.
It happened, and I was working for Luke when he was DJing a wedding when it happened.
So in my book here, that corresponds to January 20th to January 29th. At least in my deck.
January 20th, January 29th, yeah.
Okay, just to clarify. So
exactly the same.
Okay, great. Six of Swords, moving on. January 30th to February 8th, Six of Swords.
Mercury in Aquarius, we have earned success. This is the sword, in the Thoth deck, it's called Science, and duly, it should be called Science, because this is about, like, earned success. This is about, like, you do everything exactly right. Like everything.
And in the mind, if you think about those energies, Aquarius is kind of like a still air, right? And Mercury is like the kid. So it's sort of like the swiftness of a still mind. It's the exactitude and the completeness of a still mind. And the qualities of a mind that is perfectly tuned. It's a really great card. I love the Six of Swords.
It's the motion of stillness.
It's fucking amazing. The mind, the power, and the mental qualities of... And then it doesn't really get better for the swords after that. So what do we got? February 9 to February 18th, Seven of Swords, futility.
Yes, and in Lon's deck it's called Unstable Effort. Here we have the moon in Aquarius, and here's where like the intellect is overcome by too many problems. Like you have like the Six of Swords attacking the One of Swords.
Oh, the one person needs trail mix, and the tire fell off, and your driver's license is expired, and you're out of money, and it's just like, I can't get to where
And
I'm
now
trying
here,
to go.
now you have to solve this algebra problem.
Yeah, on top of it.
Yeah, because that's the only way to solve your problem and get out of the freaking sorcerer's dungeon.
And there's no way to solve this problem through the intellect. Too bad. Okay, what do we got now? Eight of Swords?
Because it's an emotional algebra problem.
Now, the Eight of Swords is our personal karma card, Interference. We talked about this May 21st to the 31st.
Also known as Shortened Force.
So this...
Jupiter in Gemini.
Now, I want to talk about this. This card...
Do it.
In the Rider-Waite deck, it's like the chick with the red blindfold on. And she's surrounded by all these swords, and she can't... She could go forward, but she, like, doesn't. She wants to make a decision, but she can't. How much have you seen this consume my life, Andrew? Where I want to do it, but I can't. Or that feeling like right before we turn on the microphone where it's just like,
Oh my god, that was like why I had trouble in school.
Okay, that is literally because it's our karma to deal with it. So that's why we're listing all these boring ass dates. Is so if you're really paying attention, you can pay attention to that section of that card and be like, oh yeah, I do run into that energy constantly, and it sort of defines my life. So for me not being able to make a decision, or me being afraid to move forward,
no, not being able to act on the decision,
and being blind, having your intellect be blind and not being able to make that decision, like, man, that's my whole life, bro. So moving on, I guess. Nine of Swords. I could talk about this forever. This is June 11 to June 20th. The Nine of Swords is the one in The Shining where Danny had those nightmares about the blood, and he's all worried. And in that shot when he's talking to Doc Halloran, there's 9 blades above his head. So this is like the feeling late at night that you are worried about some shit. It's keeping you up at night. It's that energy of the mind. It's a horrible, horrible feeling. All right.
Because it's like totally a problem you're generating in the mind.
Ten of Swords.
Wait. Before we move on, because the Nine of Swords is very important.
Okay.
Because we all deal with this. Because if you've been following us,
Suffering of the mind.
No, we've been working our way down each tree as we go down. Now we're at 9 of the mind. 9 of Yetzirah. We're in the Yesod of Yetzirah. We're in the mind. We're in the dream realm of the mind. So, like, there's literally, it's mind and mind. Mind in mind, trying to just figure out mind. Flipping in and over and over and over and over on itself, driving itself in fucking insane.
And that's related to the Eight of Swords because it's very similar because
it drops right into it. The Eight of Swords drops right into the Nine of Swords.
Yeah, because Hod is also the mind as well. So that's why they're almost the same. They're so related to each other. So then what happens in the Ten of Swords? That date is June 11th to June 20th. Ten of Swords is fucking ruined, dude.
Dude, this is where it breaks, and actually, this is
Soul in Gemini. It's so fucked up.
Yeah, because that's our sun sign.
That's our sun sign. It just makes us seem like. That's funny. That's like people hate Geminis. What is it that's about Geminis? Okay. It's like everything goes wrong. They can't make up their mind. They're of two minds about everything.
No, but like, okay, so.
But it's more than that, isn't it?
Ten of Swords is called Ruin. And it's Soul in Gemini, and it's June 11th to June 20th. This is where the mind breaks down.
This is like the witch hunts, right?
This is where literally we thought up every thought. We came up to every conclusion. We've battered all the arguments down to a T. And now basically we know what works and what doesn't. This is where the mind's just like, okay.
That makes it sound kind of positive.
Well, okay, that's the positive spin on it. It's like literally, it's like where the mind breaks the fuck down, and it's like you got to start acting. You have to act. You can't think your way out of it anymore.
Can we do discs in 10 minutes now?
Oh my God, can we?
I think we can, because when I edit this show, it'll probably be pretty close to an hour. And we have some shows that go an hour, 10 minutes, hour, 20 minutes. Epstein episode was long. But I kind of like the pace we're going at, because it's giving people an impression of how the elements work and like how they descend down. So, so we got Ace of Discs, which is like, what are the principles of the discs or of Earth?
Discs are earthly. They deal with change, growth, finances,
The material world.
material circumstances, physical health, and that's pretty much it.
And also, Earth sort of contains all the others. So you could say, like, in our little diagram where you got the sun is the will, and the emotions and the soul is like water, and then with a still mind, like Six of Swords, you can still the emotions and create a perfect reflection of the heavenly world above. But this is all happening on Earth. So, like, the discs correspond to like your physical
plane.
The plane we're on, the physical plane. So it has to do with actual stuff you can touch and taste and put your dick in and stuff.
All right, so 2 of discs. We have harmonious change. This is straight up like
the juggler.
Yeah, this is December 22nd to December 30th. We're in Capricorn, baby. We got Jupiter in Capricorn.
This is my man Rona's card. If you're around Rona long enough, he's gonna play a game with you. He's gonna mix stuff up. That is really what the card's about. It's like, you want to play a game? Let's play a game. Whoever wins $5. Whoever loses $5. You know, or whoever wins $10.
Whoever wins mixes stuff up. Whoever loses mixes stuff up.
And
this is just how it goes.
You know, and it's kind of like it's that quality of the material world.
It's the only stability is change. Because the material world changes.
What are the planets on that one again?
All right, the planets are Jupiter and Capricorn. This is expansiveness in establishment.
Yeah, games. Great.
Yeah.
3. Okay, what was the time period for that? So we don't fuck that up.
Oh my God, that's December 22nd to December 30th. This is when Capricorn starts to
Okay, moving
10
on.
degrees of Capricorn, all right?
Perfect.
So the 3 of discs, moving on, we have material works. Material works has to do with the master card. Bum, bum, bum.
So Mars and Capricorn.
Priceless.
Mars and
Anyways.
Capricorn. It's like how you're directing your works.
Yeah.
basically.
So we have December 31st to January 9th. This is basically the turn of the year.
In the Rider-Waite deck, it's like a dude working on a cathedral. So when I'm at work painting on stuff as my work, I am in that tarot card. If you've ever worked on anything, that's 3 of discs. I keep messing up the elements.
Yeah, so it's also known as the master card. So this has to do with the mastery of a craft
There you go.
or trade.
There you go. And that's December 31st to January 9th.
Yeah.
Then we move on to January 10th to January 19th.
Earthly power, or the 4 of discs. We have soul in Capricorn. So this is the sun sign in Capricorn.
So established strength, established power. So usually
This
it's
is sort of
image
a greedy fucking card usually depicted.
Is it?
Yeah, or sometimes I've seen like castles. I've seen like old men collecting coins. I've seen people like holding their pockets. I've seen some shit.
It's the king of the establishment, basically.
Yeah, it's about like establishing earthly power.
It's kinda like-
earthly finances or possessions.
It's the pyramid in the eye in the pyramid.
Yeah, it's the pyramid within the eye within the pyramid.
It's the pyramid of the eye in the pyramid. Okay, moving on to... Which corresponds to Capricorn, Aeon, meaning eye. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, so the 5 of discs. Here we have material trouble. This is where, again, 5s are always bad.
What are the dates?
All right, we have April 21st to April 30th. We're in Taurus.
Taurus.
First 10 degrees. We have Mercury in Taurus.
This is like, I don't have enough money to get on the bus.
It's like, okay, wait. I have enough money to get on the bus.
But should I spend it?
But I don't have enough money to get on the bus and buy the milk I need to get, which is why I'm trying to get on the bus.
It's 2019. We can just skip this card right now. We all know what the fuck that's about.
Yeah.
Moving on.
This is your phone bill, baby.
Moving on, 6 of discs. Now, this is one we maybe need to explain a little bit because nobody's having any.
I brought it up last time, but you didn't get what I was trying to talk about with this card.
Okay, go for it.
So we got 6 of discs. We got material success. It's May 1st to May 10th.
Luna and Taurus.
The next 10 degrees of Taurus. We got Luna in Taurus.
Now, what does that mean? Why Luna and Taurus?
So the moon in Taurus is like...
It's like the work that just keeps getting done. It creates something.
Yeah, it's that that slow progression of work that like every month, you know, it's like, oh, okay, we just keep moving on, Moon Taurus,
which equals success.
Yeah, so it's that diligence that moves slowly, but material success is it's a pretty good one because this is actually the card I made for the CMG deck.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was a cool one. So like I'm really like totally enamored about this one card.
All right, moving on. May 11th to May 20th, 7 of discs, failure. Success unfulfilled. So this is our preceding card. So in our karma, even though we're not a Taurus, this is the card that comes before interference. So our sequence goes failure, interference, cruelty.
It's fucked up, dude.
It is fucked up. But so Taurus, like I said, corresponds May 11th to May 20th, 7 of discs, failure. Now, this card is kind of interesting because I've seen it represented in so many different ways. In the Rider-Waite deck, it's like a guy. I don't know if he has a shovel, but it's like in the ground, or he's got his wand. No, he doesn't have a wand. It's discs. I don't know. He's got
a shovel disc wand.
He's got something in his hand, and he's leaning on it, and he's looking at the work he's done.
He's just leaning on it. Bro's just fucking leaning on it. He's stacking up what he's leaning on.
He's stacking it up. He's leaning on it. So sometimes
He be stacking up what he's leaning on.
So it's a little bit of this energy of like, I have some stuff built up. Maybe I've spent a little bit already. Or it's I've done the work, I have what I have, and I've spent a little bit already, and now I'm really coming to terms with how much I actually have to spend. You know what I mean?
This is the fruit ain't ripe, don't pick it.
Yeah, if the fruit ain't ripe, don't pick it. And if you've got ripe fruit, that's as many fruit as you're gonna have for this season, buddy. So it's all about prudence. I've had it called Lord of Prudence and something.
No, because the next one is prudence.
Oh, is it? I fucked that up. Sorry.
Yeah.
Never mind.
The next one's prudence, bruh.
Which one's that?
That's the 8 of discs.
Oh, you're absolutely right,
We're
dude.
in prudence, bruh. Oh wait, did we get the planetary associations with the 7?
Let's go. We might have fucked this up. It's funny. We fucked up on failure and
Saturn and Taurus. So Saturn sucks. We all know it.
So okay, success unfulfilled, Saturn and Taurus. I can explain the energy right now. That's when your boss is looking over your shoulder and your work just deteriorates because of it.
Oh, dude, that's what I'm totally dealing with at my job right fucking now.
So it's kind of like you succeeded, but not as good as you wanted. It's just like, I did it, but you were watching me.
It's the whole quantum effect. By observing the fucking act, you have affected the fucking thing.
A watch pot never boils. Okay, I think we've explained 7
Yo,
discs.
a watch pot totally gets smoked.
Sure, man. I don't know what that means, but
It means I'm smoking that pot that I'm watching.
You know, it's funny. Whenever I don't understand something, I go back and I edit the episode, and it's like really obvious. We're just moving like, whatever it is I didn't get. Like, we're moving a million miles a second when we do this. So
yeah, people get it. People are smart. Our audience is really fucking smart.
Yeah, that's why we don't have anybody listening.
Yeah.
You guys are fucking rare, dude. That's what the Fox News always says. We actually mean it. You guys are pretty fucking smart. We've had some really cool people write in and talk. Anyway, 8 of discs, prudence.
This one's prudence. Okay, we got
this is
Sol in Virgo, August 23rd to September 1st.
This is more like what I was saying earlier, where it's like, you know, you've worked for it, you have some, you've spent some.
But this
now
is
you know how
also
much you
a
have to
learning. So this one's tied in with the 3 of discs, because this is the apprentice card.
It's also getting better at what you do.
Learning how to do what you do.
Right. It's the
trade.
Learning
the trade. That the 3 of discs is the mastery of the trade.
You've got a little bit to work with, now master it, you know?
Let it grow, cultivate.
Okay, moving on. What's the time period for the 9 of discs?
9 of discs. We have September 22nd to September 11th. Dun dun dun. And
Payday.
It's Venus in Virgo.
This is payday, baby.
This is material gain. This is payday, baby. This is a day spa. This is fucking zucchini freaking on your eyelids and a fucking avocado facial and fucking seaweed wrap. You know, this is like being in a garden getting massaged.
It's
this
like
is
somebody washing your balls.
Yeah, this is like somebody washing their your balls with their hair with scented oils.
Yep.
You know, like that's straight up this card.
Okay. What time period's that? Do we get to say the dates on that?
Yes, because it was September. I did that whole dun dun dun.
Oh, you did the time.
Yeah.
Okay,
Because it's September 11th.
Oh.
And no one gives a shit anymore. It's funny.
That's wild.
It's funny. They said never forget, and we just forgot that fucking shit right quick.
Oh, the engineers didn't forget. Oh, you know what? I hear that the criminal grand jury almost forgot, and then they had to put a court order, and now they're going to assemble a jury because there's pretty much evidence that Building 7 collapsed. due to planned demolition. But we'll move on now to the 10 of discs, which corresponds to wealth, because there's a lot of money to be made.
This
in
is
that.
the 12th to the 22nd of September, and we got Mercury in Virgo. This is the last fucking card. We made it. We did it.
We made it pretty close to the end. So
Yeah.
I'll be able to edit out some of the boring shit and
Yeah,
call
this is
an episode.
a little bit longer of an episode.
So
but
actually,
not too long, but
this is the perfect card to end with because it's at the material.
I got mad respect for those people who can do like fucking 3 fucking hours. Those people are fucking insane.
That's just their job, man. So we got so wealth is Mercury in Virgo.
Yeah. And this has to do with like the fluid state of material goods and material possessions, and like wealth in general. Like the kind of at one level it's like the bottom of the barrel material, and then at the other it has to do with like wealth in general, like how wealth works, how money works, how it's fluid.
Mercury in Virgo is kind of a hard energy for me to understand, but what?
Oh, you have communication in business.
Okay. And the image of it is always like what a really nice school looks like, with a whole bunch of people gathered together, or a nice estate. And it's like a guy, he's all old and he's wealthy, but he's not wealthy because he has money. He's wealthy because he has all the things in life you want. He's got a dog and a wife and some kids and a house and a car and some beard hairs, He's got wealth. He's got a full life. And so it also is like
What is wealth?
It's the Malkuth of Malkuth. So it's like the fruit of the tree. So it's the whole idea that the kingdom is in Malkuth, and Malkuth is in the kingdom. It's the fullness of the material world. It's the entirety of the material world that's full of all the things for all of life. So it's wealthy with everything, you could say.
Yeah. And that's all the minor arcana. We've gone through the whole tarot deck. It only took us 2 episodes, and like
we only nerded out for 20 minutes in the beginning. I hope that wasn't too friggin' boring, but that's always my concern with these shows.
I love that Django crocky bullshit.
It's funny because some people, people are gonna listen to the first 20 minutes and then tune out, and then your real listeners are gonna listen to the whole show. Even like one of my best listeners is like, yeah, I mainly just listen to the first 20 minutes, but I don't know, this episode you could just skip the first 20 minutes and jump right to the cards, but oh well.
No, we did it all. We talked about the
So what is the tarot? It's the Kabbalah in picture book format, so you can learn about everything.
It's your kabbalistic picture book.
So, I guess to close out the episode, which we can edit out later, is like, so what do our cards mean? So we start with the 7 of discs, then we move to...
Don't give people our fucking shit. Don't just give out all our fucking karmic secrets.
All right, I guess we'll talk about... So if you want to know more about our karmic secrets, you can subscribe to our Patreon page at patreon.com/thewholerabbit, and for just $5 a month, you will get exclusive access to all of our episodes early, 1 extra show each month, which we will be working on very soon because our last one had recording issues, and all the high-resolution artwork and inside looks and behind-the-scenes type stuff, which we haven't done anything quite yet because we're so friggin' busy, but I'm going to pull out the iPhone and film us doing some dumb shit one day, I swear. And we're going to be doing more work on this stuff. It's just we're very busy people. We work a lot at our day jobs and our night jobs.
We're just really poor, so we need money.
Yeah, we need money. We stuff this show into the armpit of our lives and give it as much love
as our armpit can handle.
Yeah, which is a lot, because armpits are tough, okay?
And they're warm.
Man. Dude, I'm like the #1 comment on Reddit where I think it shows... Leonardo DiCaprio's mom, and they're all like, his parents are mad hippies, and she's got like one arm in the air or something, and you can see like mad armpit hair, and I explain on this page why people find armpits sexy, and it's got like a bajillion thumbs up, so I don't know.
I guess.
Eat carrots, shoot lasers.